And then, eventually my last year in high school, I was one of the founding members of a Jamaican reggae group called ARP.
Okay, okay,
You know,
okay. I think you're jumping ahead too quickly because I like the way you just
yeah,
glossed over. I did some music production with my father. I don't know if Daddy is listening right now, but I don't think he would be too pleased by that. Tell us who your father is, Davil.
yeah. Well, the world, he's known as Jack Thomas.
Right.
He's one of his number one songs is a song called Shoulder Move. I'm from a day and them a type of boogie down. I'm a Jack
Sure.
Thomas, something who dance around shoulder move, shoulder move. When
Can
you
we
get
do
in
this?
the groove, get in
Oh,
the groove. You know what I mean? And
wow. So
he's
that is
he's a he's a writer and producer of one of the main reggae songs back in those days. A song called Entertainer, done by Tristan Palm.
yes.
Entertainment, it's
Is
a
a
form
form
of
of
enjoyment.
enjoyment.
Nobody
Nobody
fighting
fighting
at the
at the.
dance, the dance, the dance. So
So
the enjoy the scene. You know what I mean? Yeah.
So, Davil, we already know where you get your musical chops from. We already know where you get your conditioning and your grooming for. Because I have to say, actually looking at all of your music that you've put out, and I just scratched the surface. I was struck by the quality of the production. So we know now that you're a producer in your own right, but we're gonna go back because there are people here who maybe know one or two songs from Davil. And what I want to do this evening is actually just take them back in the day, right? And the music that you are responsible for. And I'm not sure where my iTunes player is, but we're going to bring it up. I'm telling you, I need an engineer to help me out in the studio because it was fine just now. I don't know what happened to it, Peter G. So let's see. Oh, here it is. Okay. We're going to go back to the beginning. You mentioned that you were in a group, ARP, which I didn't know about. And I think Beanie Man was a part of that group along... No, I'm sorry. Peter G. Yeah, help me out here. Who were the other members in that group, Davil?
Well, there was four of us, the beginning, at the initial stage, and then eventually we took on a fifth member. But we basically kind of came to the fore even more known when we kind of linked up with Shocking Vibes crew and was working closely with Beanie Man at the time. You know what I mean? I think his Grammy album, a Grammy-nominated album, Many Moves of Moses, we are the ones on that. We did the intro and a couple of collaborations on that song. You know what I mean? And one of the main songs that we did with him was a song called Storm.
Okay, so stop right there. Stop right there. Stop right there. Because I happen to have the song. I'm going to just play a piece of it for you. And all I'm hearing is frying. So let's see if we can switch out the frying for the song. This is ARP with Beanie Man stamped all over it.
You're the king
Selassie.
Make money, money, make money, money, money. Tell them, make money, money, want them. Yo,
New Year started, old is gone once again.
tell them. Want them up there.
Gonna stay true till the end.
You better stay
It's
true.
ARP and Beanie Man once
You
again.
better know.
On and on, on and on, on and on. We keep the fun.
Gone.
Stop telling me all on.
Leave it up.
On and on, we keep the
Alright,
fun.
give me the
Stop telling me all on.
Drop me wonder if some boy consider me so last year me at, but I miss year me at. A man a over, man a furnace, man a fire, man a lava. How you finish me when you just getting some boy? Calm, man a blow like storm. Up a dust.
Yeah, we hear Beanie Man all over that, but if you listen, you don't even have to listen too hard. The person with the dulcet tone of voice, that is Davil singing on that one. You remember that song? Because I'm sure everybody remembers dancing to that one back in the day. Well, I'm speaking to one of the artists on that particular track, which is a huge song. Who knew? If you're not a Davil fan, you wouldn't know that this is one of your big hits from then. I want to move on to another track that I found from you from your ARP days, right? I'm just giving snippets because, as I said, the proliferation of your music is such that we would have to do the whole 3 hours of the Conduit show just going through your music. But I want to give people a musical anthology of the production from our guest this Sunday evening on the Conduit Show, the artist known as DeVille. But we're going to talk about a name change coming up, so stick and stay. Just take a listen to this for me. Just two of the tracks from DeVille from his days when he collaborated with other artists who called themselves ARP. DeVille, is it possible that I can ask you, how old were you when you were with that group?
I was one of the youngest, really, you know.
You were not the youngest?
I was about 16 when I started out for the group. You know what I mean? And again, I wasn't known as DeVille then. I was just a member of a group, ARP. I was one of the lead singers in the group. You know what I mean? At that time, I had no notion or thought of being a solo artist. Because at that time, it was just all about the group. You feel me? Yeah.
So, DeVille, I mean, the collaboration did not seem to last too long. So, was it that there was some dissatisfaction with where the group was going as a group, or that members wanted? What was it that made the group disband? Because the sound, to me, sounded great. Like you would have had a long life as a group recording.
Yeah, well, really what happened is, like all things in life, I guess everything has to evolve. I just felt like there was a moment of stagnation, and we have there wasn't no growth anymore, and I felt like at that point in time, some of us got a little bit lackadaisical. People just wasn't pulling their weight or living up to expectations, and after a couple of meetings to what you said, things just never improved, and then I had the inspiration and the vibe to do certain songs, and it doesn't seem as if people wanted to be a part of it or were too much interested into what I wanted to do, and so I started to, I did my first solo recording with Pentos Records, a song called Love Will Show Me the Way, and I guess members was a little bit disgruntled about that, but we eventually have a meeting, and I was telling them like, just like all other individuals from certain groups went and did their thing solo, probably we should do that, because I was prior to me making that move, I was already doing songs all by myself and saying ARP.
Right.
You know what I mean? I've voiced entire songs without other members being there, because either we can't find another member or certain members to come to the studio to come and help on the project. Right. And I ended up doing maybe one or two songs by myself and saying ARP. And I just felt like it was too much. You know what I mean? I expect a man to pull him weight, because I'm pulling my weight. And I have big dreams and aspirations just like everybody else. And I wanted the best for the group. And when that wasn't working out, I decided to leave. And when I left, the group was still together, It's not like I left and ARP disbanded. I left and ARP was still there.
Right.
I guess later on down the road after I left, it never lasted. It basically fell apart.
So you were the glue that was holding them together, I guess, because of your. It's clear that you have a stellar work ethic, just from the productions that you put out, especially now that you're producing and bringing your own music to the forefront. But you touched on the fact that you kind of stepped away from ARP and went to work with a famous producer, Penthouse Records, Donovan Germain. And while you mention that, let me just play a track here, and I want to ask you a question after I've played a little snippet of it. So just bear with me for 1 second, Davil, while I cue up the track. Here we go. Where is it? Here it is. I'll play this, then I want to ask you a question about the track. Of course. That is one of my favorite tracks from Smokey Robinson. What was the motivation for you to cover that particular track? And I have to say, Davil, you did a very, very good job on it. I mean, when I saw this, I'm like, no, he didn't. But when I listened to the track,
yeah.
Tell us, what was the motivation for you to cover this particular track? From this,
well, I mean, his music that I grew up on, and which left an impression on me, especially being a part of a group. You know, we were, listening to the Motowns and, and the Smokey Robinson and, all of these Marvin Gaye and stuff like that. And we started out singing mostly R&B, American music, And when I was growing up as a kid, that was also a thing on the radio where it was predominantly overseas music, and you never really hear dancehall and reggae, that much on the radio station, And then I started as I grew up and as I ventured even more into music, we fell in love with the BETs and MTVs and stuff like that because that was new to us at a certain point when I was in high school, you know what I mean? And so certain music spoke to me, and Smokey Robinson is just one of those artists where I just felt like I could relate to his sound, his style, his music, and this particular song, Cruising, was just one of my favorite, and that's why I ended up doing it.
And I have to say, kudos to you, because sometimes artists will cover music, and you have to say to yourself, if you're not gonna add something to the original, don't bother. But you certainly did add. You put your stamp all over it. But you still kind of stay true to the original song, which I like about that. Because if something's already, in my mind, perfection, you can't get any better than that. But at least you didn't drop the standard. So we're still in your Penthouse days. And I have to play this particular track that was produced from the Germain stable. Give me 1 second while I cue it up here. All right. So I have to say, for those people who are just joining, welcome to the Conduit Show this Sunday evening. And my special guest is none other than the artist Davil. But stick and stay, because he's got a story to tell. And, the way that you read a book, you start from the beginning, you go to the middle, and you go to the end. And the kicker is going to come at the end. So don't leave, but listen to this track from Davil, Mr. C. DeVille, I have to say, as far as I'm concerned, you are definitely a singer's singer. Because,
Yes.
wow, what can I say? The way you kind of took that rhythm and slowed it down and smoothed out the edges, I mean, that's a classic. Again, what was the motivation about re-recording that, behind re-recording that track?
Yeah, Mr. C was one of those classic, timeless classic. And
Yes.
this one was really brought to my attention in terms of me singing it over by the producer, Donovan German himself. He's the one who really presented this one to me with this particular project. And when he brought it to my table, there's no way I could have said no to this one. This was just one of those. I felt like I was blessed by this song, given the privilege to, to
To record
basically
it.
put my vocals to it.
Well,
Because
I love.
before I even touched it, it was already a classic from before,
Well, again, you've proven, DeVille, that you can take something that's already been done, put your own stamp on it, but certainly,
Yeah.
Peter G's telling me that's a Johnny Nash classic. So it's
Yeah.
kind of ironic that, an American artist who worked with Bob Marley, introduced Bob Marley to the North American audiences, would sing a song which a reggae artist, a young man by the name of DeVille, would choose to cover and do it such great justice. I will acknowledge everybody in the chat room as we go along, but let me just say thank you all for logging in. You're listening to my very, very special guest this Sunday evening, the artist known as DeVille. And I'm sure there are lots of people in the chat room who may not have known of DeVille or his catalog of music or even the songs that he sings. One of the songs that I want to play for you, DeVille, came as a kind of a surprise to me too, because I've seen this artist perform the song, but not with you. And I thought the person she performed with was the original singer. Come to find out, the original singer, the male person singing in this song. You know which song I'm going to play, right, DeVille?
Yeah, I do.
You do.
I
So
do.
let me just stop talking and play the song. Big song from Marcia Griffiths with DeVille.
Am I really hearing you, Lord? Like I dreamed it would be. I feel like we're frozen in time. You're the only one I could see. Hey, I've looked all my life for you. Now you're here. Hey, I've spent all my life with you.
And the folks in the chat room are acknowledging that this is a big tune, DeVille. Big, big tune.
And then you really do have to love. I just don't stand up and see.
Yes, people, you are listening to the guest right now on the Conduit Show. None other than DeVille, who did this massive collaboration with Marcia Griffiths, who I believe was a Penthouse stablemate at the time. Is that correct, DeVille?
Yeah, but Marcia was always a part of the Penthouse Records stable. I'm not quite sure if by the time I got there, if she was still a part of that in terms of a part of the roster, but she and Donovan German still maintain a close working relationship, and that is how I basically kind of get in contact with her to work with her. This song, again, was one of my favorite songs by Linda Ronstadt and Aaron Neville over the years growing up, and I've always wanted to do it over. And it just so happens that before I left the group ARP, I brought this to German attention that this song I want to sing this song over, and I requested Marcia Griffiths, and he didn't he was happy. He was like, yeah, we can get it done. At that time, I had like maybe one recording or two recorded with Penthouse under my name, David, and you know I was still a young artist now trying to figure out the solo platform. You feel me?
Right, right.
So no name, no nothing, but still the Queen of Reggae came to the studio and still, you know, gave me the opportunity to lay down a track with her, you know, and that really did a big thing for me as a individual, as a person, as a young artist, trying to find my direction in the music, you know.
And the fact that you would kind of give Queen Marcia her props for that, but I'm sure she knew the caliber of artists that she was working with. Trust and believe. She wouldn't have been recording with any and anybody. And the fact that to this day, that song is such a classic that's played in many dance halls. I think Peter G wants to jump in with something. Hold on a second. Hold on.
I know you did another song with Marcia on the duet album that she had, but I can't remember the name. It was a very lovely song. I can't remember the name for some reason at the moment. It's been in my mind all day, and now I can't remember the name of the tune. You remember the tune?
I think I know the song you're talking about.
Yeah, man,
it never came out as a single.
I know, yeah.
I think it was only
on the album.
They only put it on her album.
Yeah, bad tune. I wish that tune would get more airplay, you know?
Okay, so Peter G, you need to look for the tune. Peter G needs to look for that tune and then let me add it to my playlist of DeVille music, because as I said, this particular conversation that we're having this evening with the artist DeVille is only going to scratch the surface. So I'm hoping that the Conduit listeners and those who will be watching this live video in the future will actually go and really look at the body of work that this artist DeVille has put out. And he hasn't finished, but we're getting to the twist. We're getting to the twist. So 2005, DeVille, you decide that you're going to begin producing and writing your own music. How daunting was it to take that step?
Yeah, well, it was a step that I felt like was inevitable, you know. Especially for the fact that, you know, my drive and my passion for music was just so much. I felt like I needed to express it even more, because when you're working with different people, you know, they might not share the same vision that you share for yourself, that you have for yourself, you know, or maybe they do share it, but they only share it to a certain point. And I had so much more in me I wanted to let out. And musically, I felt a little bit stagnant and stifled on the inside, you know. And for the mere fact that I've been around my father all the times that I was around him and going to the studio with him and seeing how he would approach production, you know, and also being in the studio alongside Jeremy and watching him and see how he approached production, and being around other producers in the business over the years, I kind of absorbed all of that knowledge like a sponge, you know. And ARP was like college to me, you know. I knew ARP taught me how to hold harmonies and taught me what was sharp from what was off key, from what was flat, you know, from what was out of pocket. You know what I mean? So I took all of that knowledge with me, and then at that time I decided to start producing myself. And the very first song I produced is a song called In Heaven, which is a song that was done by Brian Adams originally. But I always loved that song, you know, and I fell in love with it even after, I think there was a remake of it again. And I'm like, you know what, well, since there's a remake of it, I want to introduce the reggae version. And that's the very first song I produced for myself.
And, you know, I saw the song and I didn't include it in my playlist today. Oh, actually, maybe I do have it. Let me see. Because I think there's 2 songs with Heaven in the title. Let me see if I have the right one, DeVille.
Yeah, man.
I was just teasing you. I had it all along.
Good one.
Coming back for more.
Oh my goodness, Davil. You know, like I said, we'd have to be here for the whole 3 hours to play, to do justice to the music that you put out. So that track In Heaven came, I think, from was it your first or second independent album?
The first one, actually.
First, I mean, the people in the chat room are going crazy because now they're hearing the music. They're like, oh, I him sing that song there. Yes, Davil, the artist,
Knowledge is key, you know?
who's actually in the Conduit Studios as the very, very, very special guest this Sunday. And I have to say, again, thank you so much, Davil, for taking time out of your busy schedule to speak with us on this Sunday evening. All right, so on the strength of the successes of your albums, you, I think, got a record deal with a Japanese company. Tell us about, what was it like working with, another, I want to say, a foreign entity. How was it? What was like communication like? Or they all speak English, right?
Yeah, well, the thing is, lots of them speak English. Yeah, and
Right.
some of them speak English. I won't say a lot, but I've had the privilege. I've been among some of them who do speak English, and they are very, their culture is so different, but at the same time, when it comes to the music, reggae music is a staple in Japan. I didn't even know that. I was just in Jamaica doing my production, doing my music, trying to navigate the musical waters, and got an offer one day to go and do a show in Japan for $3,000, $1,000 per show, 3 shows. And I took the offer. And when I went there, my eyes were open to the realness of what the impact my music was having out there in the world. In Heaven, my very first production, and my second production, a song called The One For Me, was 2 of the biggest song in Japan in reggae music at that time. I didn't even know that. You know what I mean? And when I went there, the place was, the clubs were just packed. People came out in droves to see me, and they were singing my songs word for word. That just blew me away. And I went to Japan at that time for $3,000 and came back with over $25,000.
Wow.
You know what I mean? And that just I was like, wow, like really? Like,
Don't publicize that fact, Davil.
No, because I mention it because up until that point, I never really got paid for shows. I never got paid for shows.
Wow.
I was in Jamaica doing shows for free. And the longest I spent on stage before I went to Japan was like 10, 15 minutes the most. And when I went to Japan, they wanted me to perform for an hour. So that was a turning point for me and my music, really. And that whatever money I made from that trip is what I brought back and started investing more into my music. And that aided me to produce songs like Can't Get Over You and Always On My Mind and This Time I Promise and I'm in love with you and that entire album. You know what I mean? So,
okay, so you know what? Since you're mentioning these songs that came out in 2006, I have to say, which happened to be an excellent year for Davil, because that is the year that the songs that you just mentioned, along with other songs, they became chart toppers. The single Can't Get Over You, which I don't think I have that one, but I do have This Time I Promise, which came from the second album, which was Japanese produced. Let me just touch a little bit of this for the Conduit listeners.
Baby, I love you.
Yes, another Davil classic.
When I said I love you, I meant every word I said. I don't want
The ladies are going crazy, Davil, in the chat room. Marie Higgins, Exotic Lychee, Lady D, Debbie McEwen.
like you do. I know I made some mistakes. I know I caused you some pain. But I know that you and I can start all over again. Maybe it's not too late. All we need is some faith.
as I said, the man has music, music, music. So please, 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 Exotic Lychee is telling me stop it, stop it, stop it. I've obviously touched a nerve with her. She seems to be one of your biggest fans. Yes, Val Saunders, Ja Thomas' son. That is right, DeVille. So that was This Time I Promise. Let me just touch a little bit of this one. Ladies, wouldn't you like a man to sing this one to you? Tell the truth now. Hold on a second. Let me play this one.
I know you're feeling like you can't do this.
Here we go. Here we go. All right, what's going on? Play the song, Sheron. Here we go. Ladies, talk the truth. Talk the truth. Exotic Lychee, jump up and say yes. Sing along, ladies. Marie is sending you hearts, DeVille. When you hear your songs being played on radio or in an interview or in the conversation that you're having with Sheron P on the Conduit show, what comes to mind, DeVille?
The greatness of God, honestly.
Amen.
And how amazing He has been when He basically blessed me with these songs, some of them in my dreams, just the inspiration. It comes from the source. Because these songs just didn't come out of thin air, There has to be a source of inspiration. And also from the fact that I've been through so much in my life and I was able to tap into my personal experiences and put them into songs. And it affects people's lives and touch people in the way that they do. It's been a positive and uplifting feeling for me. It's always wonderful and great to hear the response of people, like the people you were just mentioning, what it does for them and how they respond to music. But that's the beauty of music, isn't it? Music is created by God and it's created to move people and put people into moods that is supposed to be a happy place and a place of security and surety, and
absolutely
connection. Yeah.
And it wouldn't be the Conduit show without Sheron P throwing a spanner in the works, right, DeVille?
Sure.
So, because I see where you're going, but I'm not ready to go there with you just yet.
Yeah.
So just draw bricks and let me just drop something that is just totally out of left field.
Michelle will tell you that there's a road off the highway called the Conduit in New York, off the Bell Parkway.
Near the airport.
I turn off the Conduit and jump on the highway a while ago, So I'm going to go back on the Conduit and take it slow.
I love it. You are on the Conduit right now, of course. And got to say, big props, massive, massive shout out. This, sometimes you have some experiences in life as a presenter, radio personality. And I have to say, the pleasure is all mine this evening, DeVille. I'm in a zone, but I want to say about maybe 4 years ago, maybe not, a song came out that took New York by storm. Right? You may not want me to play the song, DeVille, but I'm going to play it anyway. All right? I wonder if you know which song I'm going to play, right?
Do it, man.
Bring it? You said bring it?
Yeah, man. Do it.
Oh, my gosh. In Bright. No shame. Marie, I know you remember this particular song because...
That's from like 2010.
Was it 2010? So long? No, it's not so long, Peter. No, Peter, it's not so long. Where you give this song for? I'm going to send you in the corner in a minute. Anyway, Marie, all the people who used to go party, Exotic Lychee, this song took New York by storm. Davil. You remember this, the Pantytown rhythm? From the Shantytown rhythm?
Yeah, man, that song was co-written by Shaggy himself, you know?
Woo! Hold on, Davil. Hold on. I'm sorry, let me turn it down. What were you saying?
That song was co-written by Shaggy, you know?
Well, I have to say it was kicking up rumpus in New York. So this is the artist who brought this, the Fling It Pon Me. Right? On the Shantytown, Pantytown rhythm.
Fling it up on me, baby. Fling it up, come on down. When you wind up on me, you take me straight to heaven and back. True means above, I don't know the flex. Now stop, kill me, find out weakness. So she never had it quite like the sex. Just when me put on the sweetness.
So I don't know if it was the throwback to Desmond Decker and the Aces and Shantytown, or if it was the golden fingers of Orville Burrell, of course, Shaggy on that one, or the dulcet tones of the angelic voice of Davil. But that song. Anyway, moving right along. Sorry, Davil. I had to. Because
I mean, everything good, man. It's music, you know?
it's music, and
course,
music
it's
is
a
love.
part of
And
the catalog coming forward, you know?
And as you say, yes, Marie says she remembers that tune because trust me, we were gyrating to that song in a lot of parties when it came out. Peter G says it came out in like 2010, but
Yeah, man, long time, man.
wow, oh my, Peter, we're getting old. Yes, yes, Exotic Lychee says she didn't know this one, but it has a different kind of vibe. And yes, not what one would expect from Davil, but it shows the versatility of the man. And we're moving right along because guess what? The time is almost up. Good evening, Marlene. We're going to acknowledge everybody, but right now we're having a wonderful conversation with our guests and such an affable artist and such an articulate artist. And we're going through his history in music while he's filling in the blanks for us. So we're coming up to kind of, let's say now, right? And I see, Davil, that you've been on a journey. As you said, you talked about the progression and your growth. Good evening to Glenn Walker Foster, who's logged in from the UK. Bless up to you, Glenn. We're talking to the artist, Davil. So you're talking about the journey that you've been going on. I want you to touch on that journey, how it impacted you as an artist and a man.
Yeah, well, honestly, you know, the journey has been a long one and a very it was never smooth. You know, I've had great patches and I've had patches that full as we in Jamaica would say, full of potholes. You know, you know, rough and rugged. But I guess I think I've been through the fire. I've been tried, tested, and proven. You know, and just like gold, everything has to be tried and tested to really find out the real worth. You know, and over the years, I've found out my real worth coming forward. You know, and we've made mistakes along the way, but at the same time, we've made good choices. You know, and weighing it now and looking back now, I realize that everything that happened brought me to where I am right now. I wouldn't trade where I am right now for anything, because now I'm a father, you know, father of two amazing boys, you know, Florian and Mason. You know, I have a beautiful and amazing wife at home, you know, who really, she's like the rib to my side, you know, keep me strong, feel me?
I like
and
that.
I've found that through all the years that I've been doing a lot of things and I've been focused away from the source. I realized that the source is what been missing for all these years that I was searching for something that I couldn't find in the world. Now I find it in my relationship, but I'm trying to maintain and put some time into with the Lord. You know what I mean? I'm now a saved man. You know, I'm a Christian. You know, I serve Jesus Christ and I serve the kingdom.
Amen.
But at the same time, I realize that God is the author of music, and I am very, very happy to know that I'm lucky to be able to do some of the works that I've done. You know, timeless and classic works inspired by Him, and I can still sing that now, even though I'm a saved man. I can speak up on stage and say, "Oh, it's on my mind." Yeah. You know. Baby, you're all that I want when you're not. I can't say
Absolutely.
and sing the same many people. You know what I mean?
Because we know that David,
Yeah.
David the psalmist was a singer of songs, and serenaded kings, queens. He was he was the musician. He was the king's musician. So we know music is something that is a gift, just as many other gifts and talents are passed. But whether you sing secular music or sing, as we say, for the Lord, it's music, right? It's still music.
What's important is the message.
There you go.
I mean? That's the most important thing. You get me? And, you know, I can only do my part. You know, I will never be and couldn't be judgmental. Because judgmental thing is left up to the Lord and Savior Himself. Because even I myself one day will be judging my works.
Absolutely.
So I have to just try to focus on my works and see what I can do to help to, you know, set the foundation and build the foundation and contribute. You feel me? Yeah.
Okay, so I have to ask you, Davil, I see here there's something about you have another name. Tell us about how that came about, and are you now saying that you want to be called something else, or?
No. Let me explain that to you. It just happened that, you know, during the time when my children came into the world, basically me and my wife planned for one, and the next one to show up, you know? Like, hey.
You got 2 for 1.
Yeah.
There you
They show
go.
up like, yo, hey, I'm here. What are you going to do? I'm like, okay, welcome. You know what I mean? So, Tori, and my name, I just basically wanted to honor my children, you know, and honor them by kind of giving a addition to my name. I never ever threw away the name David.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Because that would be like
to pay homage to my kids.
Wow, that's
You know,
that's beautiful.
I came up with the name David, aka Tori Mason. Tori for Tori and Mason. You know what I mean? Yeah.
That's a beautiful
basically
thing.
it.
That's a beautiful thing. So we're winding down, and I guess we're going to have to set up a part 2, Davil, just because you have so much music that we weren't able to feature. Exotic Lychee is saying music is a combination of pleasing sounds which speaks to the heart and heals the soul. There's no other language that transcends to all humanity. And those are profound words that really kind of just really encapsulate what you are saying in your music and what you're speaking to me in this conversation, Davil. So she gets it. And I'm hoping that the audience who are listening now and going forward will also get it. When they check out an artist like Davil, listen to his music and you will get it too. There's a message there. Every one of your songs has a message, whether it's the way you deliver it or the lyrics or the rhythms. There's a message, and it's reaching its place, Davil. Because I for one, am gonna go back and look at your music. And Glenn Walker Foster says music is all that's left that unites people. That's a fact. Yes, it is. So, oh my goodness, where do I go from here? Because I still got music to play, but you know, we're coming to the end of the show, and I have another song that I promised to play for a friend this evening. So, Davil, we're up to date, kind of. We did some leaps and bounds and left out a lot of things, but you know, we have to kind of work with time constraints. So you have a new project out, and the track is called happy. Is that where you are in life right now?
Yes, yes, totally happy. Very, very, very happy. As happy as I've been in my life, honestly, right now. Many things contribute to that, as I just mentioned over the span of the conversation. You feel me? And there are other things I never mentioned. But this song, Happy, was a song introduced to me by one of my co-writers and producer from Bahamas, Ketch Carey. When he introduced it to me, I fell in love with it, and I took it and I did my vocals here in my studio all by myself. I laid my vocals down and everything. And we go back and forth until the production was right. In the initial stage of releasing this song, my only intention at the time was to just put it out on the social media and just let it go and promote it from that standpoint. But I guess once I sent it out to one disc jockey and then two, then the gates just started, the floodgate that just basically opened up. People was just reaching out to me for the song, and I started giving it out to everyone that reached out to me. Because that's music, When people want music, you can't.
You give it to them, absolutely.
You get me. So the topic of the song, Happy, and I think you and everyone in the studio and everyone online listening right now can relate to the fact that we were all at some point in time got kind of self-interest in terms of loving and focusing on our own happiness and ignoring the happiness of the other people around us or the ones in our lives. You feel me? I'm guilty of that, and this pandemic basically kind of helped to bring that to the forefront, where I realized that now, spending more time with my kids and the family, I see the effect of of what they have on me when I do something for them and they put a smile, and I put a smile on their face. Me putting a smile on their face and bringing happiness to them brings happiness to me. It has an effect on me, and as long as you're happy, seeing you happy, that makes me happy. Check that. It's real.
Wow.
And
you know
that's
what?
Why people are relating to it and gravitating to it the way
Absolutely.
they are. Real,
Because I want to say I'm going to play the track. But I want to say the sentiments that you're expressing right now, especially in this time of COVID, where we see that life is not promised. Tomorrow is not promised to any of us. We've all been touched by death in one shape or form or another. We've had close relatives or distant friends. And we've gotten to the stage now where we realize how precious life is, how fragile life is, and how life is not to be wasted. Well, for me, I realize life is not. It's a gift, but we don't know when that gift will not be here. So for me, I've changed my modus operandi. So I'm a different Sheron P from, you're not going to see me out and about at all the parties, because I found my purpose and I'm living my purpose. And my purpose is to serve others. So find your purpose, make somebody else happy. You'll never, ever regret it. Because in making others happy, your glad bag of happiness just continues to overflow. Trust me. Anyway, let me play.
Man. Well said.
Let me play the song from Daville. It's called Happy. New music, new music, new music from the artist that's in the Conduit Studios right now. Goes by the name of Daville, and he's happy.
Girl, I will never change this. Real love, baby, I could never fake this. Oh, girl, your smile is contagious. Lost a lot of things, but I'm glad that I found you. I found you. It don't really matter if it's winter, summer, spring, or fall. If I gotta go against the world for you, I'd risk it all. I hope you know what you mean to me. When you're with me, I feel complete. I'd give up everything before I let you go. As long as you're seeing you
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. I feel like I've just eaten a whole bar of Cadbury's fruit and nut chocolate. My mouth just a run water. Daville. I gotta say,
Yeah.
I'm loving it, loving it. Peter loves the bass line. I'm like, whoa. Wow. What can I say? We need to do a part 2 to dissect Happy. I'm like, that's a beautiful Valentine song, by the way. I'm thinking. But it's just
Yeah,
a
well,
song.
honestly, the funny thing is, before its release, I actually released it on Valentine's Day. And it's weird because prior to me releasing the song, I was just going to put it out, but I had a concert in California, and about 2 weeks prior, I switched the date.
Oh,
I
wow.
switched the date to Valentine's Day. I'm like, this would be a perfect
It,
opportunity to basically
it
promote the
certainly
song,
is. It
on
certainly
that
is.
day, and I set the date for that time, and it works out well because, perfect song for Valentine's Day, as you would say.
Happy. New music from Deville. So people, download the track. Give the artist a strength. Any upcoming performances from you, Deville, as we get ready to wrap up the conversation this Sunday evening, March 13, on the Conduit Show? Where can we see you performing live?
Yeah, well, as of now, what is it? Next weekend, I'm gonna be off into the Caribbean. I can't say where right now because it's supposed to be
Papers haven't been concluded yet.
it's a private engagement, a private party, special party, and I'm not supposed to say anything about it.
Okay,
In
okay.
terms of time,
We respect
date,
that.
and date. You feel me? But apart from that, on the 26th of March, yeah, I'm going to be performing in Orlando in a place called Apopka. Yeah. I'm going to be performing at a place called the Reggae Rhythm Restaurant off Orange Blossom Trail on that date. And then after that, I have a couple of other things in the making that I haven't been given a confirmation on as yet.
Is New York on that?
That's the date.
Is New York on that schedule at all?
I've gotten a couple of calls from New York, and again, my agent is working tirelessly to wrap up certain dates. But I'm just in a place right now where if it's not conducive and the atmosphere is not right and the energy and the vibe is not right, it doesn't make any sense to try to go and
to force it. Absolutely.
perform for the people them and don't. And I'm not able to give them their money's worth, to give them something of value. That's what I'm about right now. It's not really about going out there and trying to run them every dollar. It's about going out there and making a mark, meaningful mark, and give people something to make them feel changed and valued and satisfied. It is.
Amen to that, Daville. That's all I can say. You have been listening to. Wow, this is I guess this is a classic. This gotta be archived. Michelle, thank you so much, Michelle Arthurton, boss lady at E2 on Air. I want to say thank you to my esteemed guest. It really has been my pleasure having a conversation with you this evening on the Conduit Show. And I want to say we will maintain the links because guess what? I have some albums that I need to buy. Right, Peter G? Definitely need to. And I don't like the download thing. I want the physical album. Even though I don't take care of my albums, as Peter G can tell you.
Yeah, just to mention this, on the single Happy is the first single for my soon to be released album. You get me? So there's actually an album on the ears of this record. Yeah.
Also, we must listen out for that one that's coming.
Yeah, most definitely.
Oh, okay. Awesome. So the progression continues, the journey continues, and more music continues to come from the studios of the artist Daville. And we're looking forward, eagerly awaiting what you have for us next, Daville. I want to say thank you again for your time. It's been my pleasure speaking to you. I want to say walk good and hope to see you real soon. Because the conversation has to continue.
God bless.
All right. Bless up yourself. Take care. All right, Conduit listeners. So you heard it there. Our special guest this Sunday evening was the artist Daville. And I had so much fun, Peter G. I wish I could have extended it, but school day tomorrow and grandma got to take care of stuff. So, Conduit listeners, we hope that you've enjoyed the conversation. God willing, we'll see you next Sunday between the hours of 6 and 9 p.m. at e2onair.com for the Conduit Show with Peter G. God bless you. Stay safe.